Leo's vision blurred as he struggled to maintain consciousness. The diplomatic mission to the Zathari homeworld had gone catastrophically wrong. Blood seeped through his fingers as he pressed them against the deep gash across his abdomen, courtesy of a ceremonial blade that had been anything but ceremonial when the honor guard had turned on them. Anna knelt beside him in the crystalline throne room, her hands already working to stabilize him. "Stay with me," she whispered, though her eyes betrayed her fear. Around them, Zathari warriors stood with their bioluminescent weapons raised, creating an eerie purple glow that reflected off the chamber's translucent walls. The alien queen, Shivara, rose from her throne with a fluid grace that seemed to defy physics. Her 6 limbs moved in perfect synchronization as she descended the steps, her chitinous exoskeleton gleaming like polished obsidian. Her compound eyes, hundreds of facets that could see across spectrums humans couldn't even name, fixed on Leo's wound. "The human bleeds," she observed, her voice emanating from spiracles along her thorax, creating an unsettling harmony. "This is expected. Your species is fragile. Soft flesh, brittle bones, inefficient biology." She tilted her elongated head, studying them like insects under glass. "You should not have come here." "The treaty," Anna began, but Shivara cut her off with a dismissive gesture. "There will be no treaty with creatures so weak. Look at him. One strike, and he falls. Your kind would be a liability to the Galactic Concordance, not an asset." Leo's hand trembled against the wound. He'd felt the blade cut deep, possibly through to his intestines. In the dim corner of his fading awareness, he knew he should be going into shock. The pain should be overwhelming. But something else was happening, something he'd learned about in the military briefings, but never truly understood until now. Anna's medical training kicked in as she tore open the emergency kit from her belt. But as she reached for the coagulant foam, she froze. Her eyes widened. The bleeding had already slowed. Leo felt it too, a strange warmth spreading through his abdomen. Not the heat of infection or fever, but something else, something primal. His vision began to clear, sharpening with each heartbeat. The pain didn't disappear, but it became manageable, pushed to the background by a surge of adrenaline and something deeper. Something coded into every strand of his DNA. "Anna," he rasped, "help me sit up." "Leo, you can't trust me." She supported his weight as he straightened, and Leo deliberately moved his hand away from the wound. The Zathari guards chittered among themselves in alarm. Queen Shivara's antennae stiffened. The gash, which moments ago had been hemorrhaging, now showed something impossible. The bleeding had stopped almost entirely. Along the edges of the wound, Leo could feel his body mobilizing, platelets rushing to form clots, white blood cells flooding the area, the ancient machinery of human healing kicking into overdrive. Shivara moved closer, her movements sharp and sudden. This shouldn't be possible," she said, and for the first time, there was something other than contempt in her multi-layered voice. It was shock. "The wound should be fatal. Your blood pressure should have dropped. You should be in shock. You should be dying." "Human bodies don't give up that easily," Leo said through gritted teeth. "We're persistence hunters, Your Majesty. We don't quit." Anna pulled out her medical scanner, her hands steady now as she ran it over Leo's abdomen. The readings made her catch her breath. "His inflammatory response is off the charts. Cytokines, growth factors. His body is throwing everything at this wound. The tissue regeneration has already begun." "Impossible," Shivara repeated, but she leaned closer, her specialized sensory organs analyzing Leo's biology in ways human instruments couldn't match. "My physicians have studied your species. Your cellular regeneration is adequate at best. This rate of healing, it exceeds even the Korthaxi, who possess triple redundant organ systems." Leo managed a weak smile. You studied us in optimal conditions. Peace, comfort, safety. He took a labored breath, feeling his strength slowly returning. You've never seen us when we're threatened, when we're hurt, when we're fighting for survival. He pulled himself more upright, and though the movement should have torn the wound further, his body held. The pain was intense, but bearable. More importantly, it was diminishing. Humans evolved on a death world, Anna explained, her voice growing stronger as she realized what she was witnessing. For millions of years, our ancestors survived in conditions that would kill most species in the concordance. Predators, disease, injury, starvation. Our bodies learned to fight back, to heal, to adapt. We developed an immune system so aggressive it sometimes attacks us. A healing response so powerful it can close wounds in days that would take other species months. A will to survive that overrides logic and reason. Shivara's warriors had lowered their weapons, confusion evident in their postures. The queen herself seemed transfixed, watching as Leo's body performed its biological miracle. We call it the fight-or-flight response, Leo said. Adrenaline, cortisol, endorphins. Our bodies flood us with chemicals that let us keep going when we should collapse. That let us heal when we should die. That let us fight when we should flee. The queen was silent for a long moment. Then her thorax vibrated with what might have been laughter or fear. A species that refuses to die, that heals from wounds that would fell warriors of races far older. She turned to her guards. Lower your weapons. She looked back at Leo and Anna, and when she spoke again, her tone had changed entirely. Perhaps we have underestimated humanity, a species that can do this to themselves unconsciously, instinctively. She paused. The concordance needs such resilience. Perhaps we need you more than we realized. Anna helped Leo to his feet. He swayed but stood firm, his hand pressed once more against the wound that had already begun its impossible journey toward healing. The treaty? Anna asked. Queen Shivara's compound eyes glittered. The treaty? Yes. But first my physicians will study you both. I must understand this miracle you call being human. As they were escorted not to cells but to medical facilities, Leo caught Anna's eye. She smiled, and he knew she was thinking the same thing. Humanity had just proved itself once again. Not through superior technology or ancient wisdom, but through the simple, stubborn refusal to die that had carried their species from the caves to the stars. The wound still hurt, but it was healing. That's what humans did best.